Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Get Corporate Ready. I am your host, Buhlali Baile, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today about yet another essential skill that is needed in the world of work. So stick with me as we go through a critical skill called time management. Hey guys, thank you so much for those of you that religiously watch this content. I really hope that it's brought so much value to your corporate journey so far and that it continues to just inspire you to level up. And for those of you that are new, make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button and not missing a single week where I will be sharing with you content that is just so relevant for graduates, young professionals alike, in helping you to transition into the world of work. And today we're speaking about such a critical skill called time management. Guys, a lot of us feel like we know what time management is, and yet we are multitaskers of note, right? Whilst you're driving, you're texting, whilst you're on a phone call to someone, you're busy writing something down. We multitask a lot. And what we know about multitasking as a fact is that there are certain details that you forget. You overlook very important information as well. And yet, when you're in the world of work and you are juggling more than one ball, more than one deadline and projects that are on the go, it is so crucial for you to understand why time management is important and how you are able to implement certain skills that are really going to help you be efficient when you are working and also help you meet those deadlines as and when required. So guys, when you think about time management, I want you to think back to a time where it was highly stressful, lots of deadlines, multiple deadlines at a time. How do you cope during those times? How do you organize your day or your week so that you're able to just stay on top of your deadlines, right? I know how high pressure times can be where there's just so much on the go and everything is absolutely important. Well, today I'm going to share with you 3 P's that are going to help you just organize things in your mind and really help you just understand what are the key things I should be thinking about as I manage my time. Time management is something you're going to do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. It really all depends on the type of task that you have at hand and what's required of you and how long certain things take to do. So today I'm going to share what is known as the 3 P's of time management, and I hope that this really helps you just unpack what are the things that you need to be thinking about as you organize your day, your week, your month. Now, the first P I want to speak about is procrastination, right? You may ask yourself, why are we talking about procrastination when we actually meant to be talking about time management? Well, nothing destroys time faster than procrastination, right? I'm sure you've been there before where you know the tasks that you're meant to be doing, and yet you just can't seem to get to it. You can't seem to actually knuckle down and start. And the reason why this happens is because we tend to be the type of people that overthink tasks. Right? Sometimes you want to get all of your ducks in a row before you start a task. You want to understand every single detail required of you before you actually start a task. And what that ends up doing is that you go through this process of analysis paralysis. You're analyzing so many different things at a given moment in time before starting the task. Right? Sometimes a simple way to break procrastination is just to break the task down into what is the starting point, right? As you make headway, as you start the task, you'll realize that some of the questions that you had are getting answered as you are doing it, right? And there'll be other questions that come up that you had not thought about, but it required you to actually start the task for you to get to that point. So guys, make sure that you don't procrastinate too long. Do not overanalyze the task you're meant to be doing. Get to a point of just breaking down the task into smaller chunks and ensure that you are trying to make headway just on a daily basis. Make headway on something. You don't have to work on it absolutely every single day, but make sure within a week you've actually started on the task. And that takes me so well into my next P, which is called planning. Now guys, as I said, in order for you to break through procrastination, planning needs to come into play. Ensure that as soon as you have a task, you start making a list and creating a list of the things that you need to be doing. Some of the things are going to be urgent overnight. Other things you'll have 2 weeks to plan, a month to plan. Don't leave the things that are due within a month for the week of the deadline, right? I know a lot of you may think, well, Bohlali, I actually work better under pressure. And actually, I'm that kind of person as well. I love feeling like I've got a limited time to do things, and therefore let's get it done, right? And because the pressure is on, I actually zone in more, I focus more, and I know there's a couple of you that are like that. But when you start out in a corporate environment, one thing that you don't realize is that as you start out as a junior person, you report to people, you're accountable to people. So certain tasks that you're doing are not for your timeline and for your own benefit, right? So you must get out of the mentality at school where you knew you've got, a week to get this project done. And you knew that you could have 3-4 days to just bash it out completely and therefore submit it on time. When you're in the world of work, you may think that you'll do it in crunch time, but don't forget that there's going to be so many other things that are going to come up within that week that people expect you to do. And also, as a junior person starting out in a corporate space, your tasks are due for the next person so that they can do what they need to do, right? So they've given you a particular deadline because they know how long it's going to take them to then complete it from the point that you've given them. So always remember that the tasks you do when you're in a corporate space largely impact other people in the team. So you need to learn to plan so that you learn to manage the expectations for when people are meant to be getting the tasks that have been given to you. So guys, planning becomes very, very important. Learn to break down tasks. Understand how long it's going to take you. Some tasks are going to be new, so don't underestimate the time that you're going to need to actually complete a task. Make sure that in a new task specifically, start making headway on it quite early so that you get a sense of how long it's going to take you to actually complete the task. Once you've got a sense of what you know, what you don't know, what other information you may need from other team members, that's how you then start ascertaining how much time is going to be required for the task. Planning becomes a very important part of time management. So ensure that you are making the time and creating the space for you to plan your tasks so that you are meeting your deadlines. The last P that I want to speak to you guys about is prioritization. So prioritization is really about knowing which task is more important than another and which one requires a level of urgency, right? Sometimes when you have 4 or 5 tasks to do, you're not going to know necessarily which one takes priority, especially if you've received tasks from different people and you're supporting quite a bigger team. So what's going to be important for you to understand how to prioritize work that's been given to you is by ensuring that when you are given a task, ask the critical question, what is the deadline? When do you need it by, right? If you find that you've got 2 or 3 tasks that are required around the same time, make sure that you let the people know that have given you that task that, listen, I'm excited to do this task and I'd really love to dig into it. I have got 2 other tasks that someone else in the team has given me to do as well, which I'd love to do a great job at. Can I maybe get a better sense as to whether there's a bit of leeway with this particular task? Could I give it to you the following morning instead of close of business the day before, right? Learn to manage expectations, guys. That's something I'll speak to you about in a different video. But learning how to prioritize is also about asking the right questions and ensuring that you know the deadline for the tasks that's been given to you. Don't assume you've got a week to do something just because it's been given to you, assuming, okay, I'll take my time, I'll do this a bit later. No, ask the question all the time. That's what's going to help you prioritize and understand which task is needed, when, and how to then spread out your energy in terms of making sure that tasks are done timeously. So once you have a list of things that you're going to do, one thing you must know, you're never going to tick off absolutely everything in your list, right? And that is absolutely normal. So don't feel like, you are spinning because now, you've only ticked 2 things out of 10. But if you've managed to tick 2 of the most important things out of 10, you actually feel a sense of accomplishment, right? You feel like I'm actually making headway. I'm getting stuff done when it needs to be done. And that gives you fuel and motivation to just keep going, right? But if you land yourself in a place where you're procrastinating, you haven't planned, you don't know which task takes priority, that analysis paralysis, guys, is going to continue to fester. It's going to continue to weigh down on you. And before you know it, like I said earlier, you end up crashing, And guys, you don't want to get to a point where you feel like your head is spinning and yet you actually haven't made headway on anything, right? So learn to prioritize the tasks that have been given to you so that it really helps you know that if I can get through these 2 tasks today, I've made headway and I'm actually on track in terms of taking the things that are important. So when you start prioritizing, understand the level of urgency for the particular task, but also understand how long it's going to take you to do that task. And like I said earlier, if you haven't done it before, rather get started earlier than assuming you know how much time it's going to take you to complete the task. So just as a recap, the 3 P's that I spoke about today. Number 1 is procrastination. 2, planning. 3, prioritizing. Once you guys start to think about your time in this way, and once you start planning the tasks that you need to do by thinking through the priority of the tasks and asking the right question, I promise you it will make so much of a difference in just ensuring that you're making headway on the right tasks at the right time. Guys, I hope that was really valuable for you. Please make sure that you're commenting below. If there's anything that you'd like me to elaborate more on, make sure that you're letting me know in the comments below.